Hello to those of you that have joined already. We'll just give it another maybe minute or so for everybody to join. Looks like there's people coming in here. Okay, I'm going to get started. So, hello everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar for the virtual glasstec show. I'm sorry we can't meet at the event in person, but I'm happy we can meet virtually to share some information and have some discussions. It's great to see so many people are able to join today, and I hope everyone's doing well and staying healthy during this challenging time. So in today's webinar, we'll discuss how to reduce the hidden costs of glass coating. This talk's mainly focused on architectural glass since it's a glasstec show, but it could be really related to any coating process that uses our rotary cathodes. And if you've got any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to ask them. There's a Q&A section in the taskbar of Zoom. So please put the questions in there, and I hope to be able to answer them at the end of the presentation. And if I don't get to your question, then please send me a note offline, or if you have a question you'd like to ask offline, please send me an email or give me a call. My contact information will be at the end of the presentation. I believe the webinar is recorded and it'll be available on the glasstec website. So you should be able to see it there too. So I'd just like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Sarah Williams and I've been with Sputtering Components for almost 9 years. I've been the Senior Applications Engineer for the past 2 years and was Sales Manager for North America prior to that. I've been heavily involved in architectural glass applications and the retrofit process. So I hope I can give you some insight into how we can help you. So, okay, let's get started. So I'm sure that most of you know that cathode reliability can cost you a lot of money. If you have to do a lot of maintenance or have leaks or send end blocks back for repair, this could end up doing a lot of damage to your process with downtime, etc. So you say cathode reliability really can make or break your glass coating process. So when we look at the cost of unplanned downtime, when an end block fails, you have to spend a lot of time figuring out what might be wrong. There might not be a trigger necessarily to tell you what's wrong. So there's a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on. And a lot of work. So troubleshooting labor to replace the end block or the process lid. You might have to turn the cathodes on or off. As I said, replace the lid. If the replacement's needed, then there's time for venting, cleanup, pump down, conditioning the target, and check the target again. And check the process again. So most likely you'll have losses in production and possibly a coater full of glass that has to be scrapped when the machine was stopped. And then looking at the repair costs, once you take the end block out of the system, there are many expensive costs associated with repairs, such as the parts and labor required to overhaul the end blocks. And these costs especially escalate when you have to return the end block back to the manufacturer for overhaul. So we've had several projects with customers in remote locations that might not have an in-house service center or experienced personnel to do the overhaul in their factory. And the experience there is that it could be 2 months to get the end block back to the manufacturer, and then up to 10 weeks for an overhaul, and then 2 months return. So it could be over 6 months before you see that end block again. And our solutions really are focused on easy maintenance and reliability, so you can do all that in-house and save that time. So often in order to mitigate risk, many different spare parts have to be kept on the shelf, and also spare end blocks are required to avoid costly downtime when others are sent for repair. So that really means that that's capital just sitting on the shelf waiting for an event to occur. And we understand that it's typical for companies to carry around 30% of the total en bloc count as spares on the shelf. When we look at costs for this, putting some actual figures on, around 12 to 14 hours downtime per failure could cost 850 to 1700 euros per hour. And that's no small cost. And then in terms of repair parts and labor, you might have a warehouse full of expensive parts and some costing close to around 10,000 euros per en bloc. I mentioned before that some companies have dedicated in-house service center or repair team. So that means one person or more is purely dedicated to en bloc maintenance, and then there's the space required to do this in the actual factory. So even if you know how to maintain the en bloc and you don't return them, it's still time and money. So we just wanted to put some figures there. So then looking at possible solutions, you could either do a complete coater replacement, which is typically not feasible, especially when it can cost up to 25 million euros for a coater. Or you could do a process lid replacement, which is also capital intensive when it's 150 to 200,000 euros per lid, and also has a long payback. So the simplest and least expensive solution is usually just to do a cathode retrofit, and you get a good payback on that. We'll look at that later too. So we can work with you. We've done this en bloc retrofit many times, and we have a solution. So why would you choose to retrofit besides the reasons I said already? SCI was built on finding a more reliable and easier to maintain en bloc, and so retrofits were a natural business area for us. We've got, you can see the map here with all the numbers on. We've got over 900 en blocs installed, and we've saved our customers over 13 million euros to date. In terms of maintenance, I've got a slide on maintenance later also. So you can do the maintenance yourself. It's on your schedule in your factory with your own resources. We also have training videos, so we could do it virtually as well. And the foundation of SCI really is that we have a proven solution that's simple and robust, and we're really proud of that. So you probably know who our competitors are. And we like to say, ask our competitors if they've ever replaced a Sputtering Components en bloc, and I'm sure you'll find that the answer is no, that they haven't had to do that. So let's look at the cathode retrofit benefits. It really is a plug and play package. You can take the old en blocs out and you can put the new en blocs in. No lid modifications. It doesn't change your coating process because you're simply replacing the en bloc. You're not having to replace the magnet bar, although you can do if you'd like, but you can use the same process. Uses existing electrical and mechanical interfaces. There are some minor things on the control side that might need to be implemented, but we've got a solution for that, and we've implemented it in many situations. And the typical return on investment would be 3 years, but it could be less than 6 months when you consider the case where you have to have all the spare en blocs on the shelf. These next two slides I've got here are real life examples from a couple of customers. It's not data that we've pulled out of the air or forecasted. We've got the exact number of spare parts that were purchased by the customer, and the customers verified that data. So if you look at this slide, the wear parts are typically things that will wear with time, like seals. The spare parts are what the customer might have on the shelf, spare seal kits and bushings, and then sandblastable parts like the dark space shield. So you can see in year one, where 30 M blocks were purchased. And year 2, there were no wear parts required. You're not required to change the seals until the end of the 2nd year under normal production conditions. And then as time goes on, there are some sandblastable parts and spares that are purchased until you hit year 8 here, where the customer's at 114 M blocks. And you can see the total spend per M block at that point is around $433. And the average cost of ownership per year over this time works out to be, I've got euros in here, 271 euros per M block per year. And if you look at just the wear and spare cost per M block, around 163. So we like to say that even if we were off by a factor of 10 on these figures and the data hadn't been verified, the costs really still fall way below your current maintenance costs with M blocks from other suppliers. So we really do keep the costs down. This is the same information that I'm giving you here, but from a different customer, and they started out with 2 M blocks and now up to 130, and the costs really are very similar to the first case on average per year. So it's pretty consistent across the board. As I mentioned, we have a plug and play package. So this picture on the right shows the lid before and after. The top pictures are before, where the M blocks with water and power are on this end, and then on the right hand side it shows the motor with the other M blocks here. So this would be the lid before either end, and then the picture here shows our solution. So the water, the power, the motors are all on the one end because we have a single-ended design, and on the right there's just the VFDs, and we have an electrical package that we put together, and that's been installed, to help the system drive our M blocks. And then they're just on a plate that was previously occupied by the M blocks, by the old M blocks here. And on the other side of this plate would just be a simple static support for the target. So there are no lid modifications required. You use the existing bolt holes, existing water and power hookups, the existing controls, although as I said, some minor tweaking might be necessary. I'd mentioned you can keep the existing magnet bars. If you've got magnet bars from other suppliers, you can use those. No changes to the targets or target mounting. The gas distribution, the anode, all that can stay the same. It's purely an M block replacement. So when we look at the retrofit details, this slide's just showing you what you get in the kit. You can see the main components include obviously the M blocks, outboard support, drive mounting brackets, mounting hardware, the cooling fittings, water cooling fittings, shielding, the target clamps. The SCI proven target clamps are all target designs, no matter what the supplier, and the power connections to hook up to your existing power connection. And then we've got several options such as drive motors, upgraded magnet bars. So we've got different types of magnet bars, or you can switch to the RAM bar, which is our remotely adjustable magnet bar for tight uniformity control. We have many of these installed in glass coaters now, so you can do all the adjustment without venting the coater. We have our Mentor Series M Block 2, which allows predictive maintenance, and I've got a slide on that to follow shortly. Flow meters, we can do the lid retrofit in our facility or in Europe, Asia, or the US. We will send people to help you install it, to give you training if you need. So basically, we can figure out, what's needed either in person or virtually. You can just see here, I'd mentioned we use these existing components, and we can supply the drawings for verification. So this slide's showing a retrofit kit example, and these are the M blocks. You can see the motors here, the existing power connection along the top, this here with what would connect to the plate on the other side instead of the original M blocks that were there. So it's just, as I mentioned, just a simple support. This would be the electrical package, which could be different for each case, but we've done many of these, so we kind of know what electrical package should be for which manufacturer. And this is just a top view here. So that's everything that you would get in the kit. So this is the M block that you'd receive for architectural glass. It's got industry standard power levels of 200 kilowatts, and we supply it with our 2-year service guarantee. No maintenance or parts are required for 2 years, and we've been offering this solution since 2005. It's really a glass industry standard, and it's operating in coaters worldwide. So you just have to install it and enjoy it for a couple of years before you need to do any maintenance. This is an artist rendition of an M block. So we can just go through the main features here. The fill and drain, we have a patented fill and drain feature where the water completely fills the target for better water cooling, more efficient water cooling. That's not always the case in other M blocks. And then it completely drains the target when you can completely drain the target of water when you want to do a target change. We've got heavy duty bearings. We've done many years of testing on these bearings, and find that we verified them for years of trouble-free operation. When we look at the power transfer, we've got a patented brushless design. So there are no brushes to replace. There's no brush dust, which can cause seal failure. It has a high power rating, and it's very reliable. For the vacuum and water seals, the dual lip seals, there's 2 of each. So we have a redundant seal. They can tolerate running dry. They're easily replaced without removing the M block. In terms of the water seals, as I mentioned, we have 2 seals. So one is really a backup seal. So if you saw water coming out or dripping out at some point, there's no need to shut down. You just an indicator that the next maintenance requires a seal change. And then for the vacuum seals, the 2 seals too, you could monitor the differential pressure, which is more of a legacy feature, but it's often plugged these days. It's there if you need it. With the target attachment, the target mounting flange and clamp are included, and you can attach the targets from any vendor, and they have high load bearing, and you can do fast target changes around 10 minutes or so. The M blocks can be mounted in any orientation. I already mentioned they can use existing mounting holes and utility connections. And then we use a robust inverter duty motor and belt drive, which is reliable and allows design flexibility. So I mentioned about the maintenance. The RM blocks have way fewer parts. They're much more simple. So they're designed for easy disassembly. You can see Jerry here has got a lid with the M blocks that are kept on the lid. So they can stay mounted during the maintenance. We offer custom toolkits which make maintenance easier and prevents damage from improper tools. I mean, honestly, you could use simple tools that you might already have, but the kit just makes life much easier. And we provide user manuals, instructional videos I mentioned, and then installation and maintenance training at our location or yours. This would be a typical maintenance, just a slide on typical maintenance tasks that are required. And you can see that, if you're doing a target change, then you do want to inspect it and maybe replace the O-ring and the target clamp screws, which is pretty quick. Otherwise, you won't need to do the water or vacuum seals for a couple of years. It takes around 30 minutes, bushings 20 minutes. And then if there are other things that need to be replaced, we put greater than 5 years, it could be 10 years, drive belt, bearings, electrical contact, then all this can be done in under 2 hours, and it can be done with your employees and on your schedule. I mentioned our mentor option. So this is an M block, which it contains various sensors and feedback loops to provide you with information for predictive maintenance. So you can maximize your part life and cathode uptime with these early indicators. It's easily retrofitted onto the lid. no need to vent or blow down. And then it processes data on a PC or a PLC. And again, just because you're replacing the M block itself, it's got no effect on the coating process. So getting started really is easy. We have a retrofit kit probably already designed for your cathodes. We can help you determine your return on investment and prepare a proposal and provide you really with as much or little help as you need to install the kit. So if this has piqued your interest, please reach out to us. We've got distributors worldwide, or you can contact us directly or through the glasstec networking platform if you've signed up to that. And we've uploaded a video there so you can see more of our products for the thin film coating market. So thank you for listening. I wish you have a nice morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're located. You can see the contact information here on our website, and stay safe, be well, and we look forward to meeting you in person sometime, hopefully in the not too distant future. I will look at see if there's any questions here. So if anybody has any questions, you can please ask them in the Q&A section. Looks like there are no questions right now. I did have a couple of questions that came in before. So I had one which was a scenario example, customer XX all the way using brand YY machine cathode retrofit. When the machine needs overhauling, how do you convince them to choose Sputtering Components for replacement in terms of cost reduction? I think I already answered that in the presentation. And then looking at an apples to apples comparison with and without using the cathode retrofit in terms of cost, productivity, cycle time, etc. I think I also addressed that. If I didn't, please let me know. So any more questions here? What's the general price of a M block retrofit? So that depends really on a few variables. You know, what are the current M blocks that are being upgraded? What type of coating platform is being used? How many units? What options might be included? Maybe you need the electrical package, maybe you don't, but generally less than $30,000 per M block. And that's, you only need one per target tube, not the two like the other manufacturers. How many process lids can be updated at a time? So you can easily do 1 to 3 lids per day. Once the retrofit package has been delivered, you could do that. Depends obviously on the complexity and the resources available, but we can help with the installation and training there at your facility. Can you replace magnet bars, anodes, and/or gas manifolds as well during a retrofit? Yes, we can do that. We can supply our magnet bars with the retrofit and any anodes or gas manifolds. So, yep. Can you additionally save on the maintenance with the Mentor system? How is it visualized? We could save on the time because it would predict when you need to do maintenance. So yes, if you want to, we could talk about that offline too. Do you also supply a leak test kit for M blocks? We don't, but we leak test everything before it leaves the facility, and we can help you do that when we install the M blocks onto your lids. Okay, we've got just another 2 minutes left here if there's any other questions. Okay. If there are no more questions, then any more? Do you offer software for the mentor and the predictive maintenance too? Yes, we would offer that and help you install that. Thanks. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. And as I said, hope you have a nice morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And please get in contact with us if you'd like some more information. And enjoy the glasstec show.